Hello guys, welcome to another Premier League preview. For me, this might be the most intriguing game of the opening Premier League weekend. And this is Newcastle United against Liverpool at the St. James Park. You know, two clubs, two new managers, two different style of play, two squad from the ones we saw the last season. And of course, there is Alexander Isak. The Swedish international returns to the stadium where he became a Newcastle hero, but this time he will be wearing the Liverpool's red. So, can Newcastle spoil Liverpool's new era under Adoni Iraola, or will Liverpool begin their campaign with a statement victory? That is what we'll be giving you today in today's preview, dissecting the team news, analysis, match form, and also predicted lineups for the forthcoming game at the St. James Park. Now let's begin with Newcastle United. You know, this is a completely different Newcastle from the one built under Eddie Howe. You know, Eddie Howe is gone, and we have Matthias Giselle, who is now in charge of Newcastle United. But the bigger issue is the players they have lost. You know, coming into this season, Newcastle has lost the likes of Bruno Guimaraes, who joined Arsenal. Sandro Tonali has moved to Tottenham, and Anthony Gordon left earlier for FC Barcelona in Spain. That is an enormous amount of quality and experience to replace in one summer. And Newcastle are not coming into this game particularly with a convincing preseason form. Their recent warm-ups included defeat to Bayer Leverkusen and Everton, although they did beat Valencia in one of the friendly matches during the preseason. There is also injury concerns with the likes of Joelinton, who is out with a groin problem, while Tino Livramento is still recovering from a calf injury that affected his World Cup. So this is very much a Newcastle team which is still trying to discover a form under new manager Matthias Giselle. And in terms of key players we could look at going into this game, for me is former Manchester United man Anthony Elanga is the one to watch. Newcastle need pace and directness in transition, and particularly if Liverpool press high. If Elanga can attack behind the Liverpool's fullbacks, definitely Newcastle is going to cause Liverpool problems. For Liverpool, they are also entering into a new era too. Adoni Iraola has replaced Arne Slot, and his football is expected to be aggressive, intense, and front-footed. You know, Liverpool's preseason has had mixed feelings too among the fans, with just 2 wins and 2 defeats and a draw in their last 5 preseason. You know, but the major questions, there are plenty questions, or many questions are around the squad. With Mohamed Salah, who has left, and the Robinson also left earlier in the season. Ibrahim Kanouté is gone, and Ugo Ekitike is injured. Iraola himself has admitted that Liverpool still need reinforcement, particularly out wide. But Liverpool still have the likes of Florian Wirtz, Kwadi Gakpo, Dominic Szoboszlai, and of course, Alexander Isak. And Isak is the story everybody will be watching going into this game. Key players to watch going into this game, for me, I think it is difficult one, but I will still want to put my eyes on Alexander Isak. You know, he had a very difficult first season at Liverpool, scoring just 4 goals in 22 appearances for the Reds. But let's remember that he was a very good player with Newcastle United, and in his final Premier League appearance, in his final 26 Premier League appearance with Newcastle at the St. James Park, as a Newcastle player, Isak contributed 22 goals and 6 assists in his last 26 Premier League games with Newcastle. So don't be surprised if Newcastle United fans give him a hostile reception. But the question is, can Isak respond on the pitch? Now that brings us to the head-to-head performance between both sides. You know, the numbers definitely favor Liverpool. Liverpool are unbeaten in their last 19 Premier League meetings with Newcastle United, winning 14 and drawing 5 of those. And Liverpool also haven't lost their last league visit to St. James Park, winning 6 and drawing 3 games at that point. But there is an interesting part. The last 3 Premier League meetings at St James Park have all been decided by goals in injury time. And the last time these teams met here, Liverpool produced one of the most dramatic finishes to last season, winning 3-2 with a goal from Rayo Ungomoha's stoppage time winner. So, history says Liverpool have the advantage, but this fixture has a habit of producing chaos. Possible team lineups. Based on the latest team news and projected lineup, Newcastle could go with a 4-2-3-1 formation, and in goal we should have Henry Nietzsche, who is going to be the man behind the stick. We have Desic, Thao and Hall, the backmen there. Ramsey, Elanga and Wissa will be the men at the middle of the park, and Harvey Barnes and Oshoala will definitely lead the front men. While for Liverpool, I expect Adoni Raiola to stick with his favoured 4-2-3-1 formation with Alisson Becker between the sticks. Frimpong, Jacket, Van Dijk and Kerkes will make up the back 4, while the 2 men in front of the defence will be Gravenberch and Dominic Szoboszlai. The 3 men who will definitely support Isak in front, I will go for Rayo Ungomoha, Florian Wirtz and Kouadi Gakpo. You know, like we always say here, these are just projected lineup. The official team news could definitely be different from what we are projecting, but based on how Liverpool and Newcastle have played their last games, we are projecting this to give us an overview of what we should be expecting on match day. Now, let's talk tactics. You know, Iraola wants Liverpool to press aggressively and play on the front foot, while the likes of Matthias Giselle for Newcastle has a Newcastle team that they can be very dangerous when you give them the chance to transition quickly. So Newcastle United best route may actually be to invite Liverpool forward and then attack the spaces behind them and also hit them on serious counter attack and all of that. Well, because Liverpool have lost Ibrahima Kanouté and Bradley Robinson, they now have a new centre back, Jeremy Jacket, who is definitely potentially going to make his Premier League debut alongside Liverpool's veteran man Virgil van Dijk. So at the other end, Liverpool who has the likes of Florian Wirtz, Kouadi Gakpo and Isak, and if those 3 start developing and understanding, definitely Newcastle would be in serious trouble going into the game. So what's my prediction? I'm not convinced by either team. Both teams, I'm not convinced by both of them going into this game defensively. Newcastle are rebuilding a midfield. Liverpool are rebuilding their defense, and both managers are only beginning their Premier League journeys in their respective clubs. That makes me expect goals. So my prediction, I'm going for Newcastle United 2, Liverpool 2. I expect Alexander Isak to score against Newcastle. I am putting my money on that, on Alexander Isak to score against Newcastle. I know that's going to make St James Park atmosphere absolutely crazy, but if there's one thing football loves, it's take fans' breaths away. So, and Isak returning to Newcastle United and scoring for Liverpool would be one of a hell of a crazy storyline, if you ask me. So, 2 managers, 2 new transitions, a packed St James Park welcoming Alexander Isak, who is returning to the home turf of his former employers. Liverpool have dominated the fixtures historically, but Newcastle have the home crowd. And this is not the same Liverpool or Newcastle which we witnessed last season. So, what do you think? Can Newcastle United finally end Liverpool's incredible run in these fixtures? And will Alexander Isak score against his former club? Drop your predictions in the comment section. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video. Until next time, enjoy the beautiful